Managing Linux systems across different distributions and across locations is something that's challenging, but SUSE Manager can make it easy. Let's see how. You have an on-premise person, his name is George, who's managing Red Hat Enterprise Linux. He's used to a very controlled environment, with test and production systems separated, each having their own content, all replicated from the Red Hat Content Delivery Network. In addition, on your team, you have SAP systems, and these are running SLES for SAP. And Amy, who is in charge of the basis team, wants it to align with the environment life cycles that SAP expects and be able to deliver it not just with regular patches, but also with live patches that keep the boot cycle down to only once a year. You also have Amit, who's in charge of your developer group. They love to use open source Linux systems like Ubuntu and CentOS, and you need to be able to make sure those are patched as well. Finally, you have an Oracle team led by Amy, who is running Oracle Linux underneath Oracle workloads because it makes sense and their support cycle works well. Now, how do all these systems work together? Well, each of them can have their own lifecycle project inside of SUSE Manager, where I have test and production patches controlled and content that migrates between those different environments, so my systems don't have to be re-registered. And I can run through a disciplined set of filters that correlate to my patch cycle. In this case, I have a monthly patch cycle, so you can see each month, July, August, September, is controlled by a different filter that allows me to release that and manage it throughout the life cycle, regardless of whether I'm running RHEL or Oracle or SLES for SAP. All of my on-premise systems can be seen together or separately, including ones of different architecture, like the Raspberry Pi system that you see on the top here. But what happens if I also need to manage systems in a public cloud? I've been tasked with adding a system or multiple systems up in Microsoft Azure. Here, I can build a SUSE Manager proxy server to move the content close to them, to keep my network security groups in place, and allow me to be able to add systems through this proxy that are running up in Azure, accessing the same content and the discipline-controlled administrative environment I created on-premise for all of those different Linux distributions. I can have my RHEL 7 system up in the public cloud. I can have my live patch system for SLES for SAP now deployed in Azure, as well as on-premise. And I can see all of these systems together in an overview screen with all of the different locations and distributions that are available to me. I can also do security auditing across those distributions and locations. And here we see that my Red Hat 7 system on-premise and in Azure needs a certain security patch. I can create an action chain that will patch this system, not just apply the patch to both the on-prem and in-cloud system, but assign a reboot action that happens sequentially once these have successfully applied the patch, and then schedule it within the maintenance window that makes sense within my environment, not just for on-premise, but for in the cloud as well. And all of these allow me to do very powerful things, like remote commands across the entire portfolio, regardless of where it's located. If I have access to these systems, I can see what I need to across my portfolio and have powerful developed tools that allow me to manage Linux regardless of what distribution and where it's located.